Hello, folks. Still operating minus a tooth. Progress is being made, though, in adjusting my lifestyle so that my pressure will be down a little bit, and eventually they'll be willing to do something. But I'm here to share that I've received some music from people, and I won't be able to talk about all of it in this one because I haven't listened to all of it. But I want to acknowledge, I want to give thanks now. I just want to give thanks. I'll start with Dereck. Another person named Dereck sent me a package, and primarily what was in the package, and I appreciate this, you know. He said he was transferring the 4 LPs he had from collect vinyl to CD one day, and he thought I would like them. He's right. I like them. I already have them digitally, but I appreciate the effort. It was very nice of you, Dereck, to think of me and to take the time to make these for me. I appreciate it. So he sent me Churchill's. This is an Israeli psych rock band from, I believe, the 70s. This is very collectible. Anyone that has an original of this, you've got quite a collector's item. It's good. Excuse me. Saint Stephen. I haven't looked this. I have this on the computer. It's something I looked up years ago. It was like one of those things where it's like, oh, you got to hear this, you know, and you never find it. So Saint Stephen, which I do already have. Plastic Cloud. This is Plastic Cloud, isn't it? Yep. Plastic Cloud, another one that is a highly recommended artifact from the psychedelic era of the past that he burned for me. Thank you again, Dereck, very much. And then Maximilian. Young guy who kind of looks like a Lenny Kravitz before Lenny Kravitz was born. And this album is pretty cool on the ABC label. I would love to have all these records on vinyl. Really, the plus of the package was the fact that along with the CDs, he did send a piece of vinyl. Perhaps it was an afterthought, but for me, it's the highlight of the BCLT, the vinyl, which is this album, Methuselah. Came out in 1969. Cover's slightly beat, but the record plays fine on Elektra. Still has the lyric insert. I'm quite happy to add this to the collection. I do like it as well. But as explaining to Dereck on Facebook online in thanking him for this, the records from the late 60s and early 70s, especially the psychedelic, pop psychedelia, sunshine pop, and electronic area of music really still hold a lot of value to me. It can be, you could say it's nostalgia or whatever, but yeah, any of these old records that I can own now, I want to. You know, I always wanted them as a kid and couldn't. You know, I couldn't afford them all, you know. Truth be told about my record collecting, you know, as a kid, this was not like this. I had records, but, you know, if you could have seen, you know what I'm saying, it's like I never had an allowance. I've never had extra money. You know, these records have been hard won. That's what I'm saying. So even though I'm about to turn 60 and people my age are generally not interested in music, I still am actively wanting to collect this old stuff. The more the merrier. The more I can have, the better. So thank you, Dereck, for the music. I also received a couple other packages, and I haven't listened to all the music, but I want to acknowledge these, okay? And, okay, let me go back here. Excuse me. This one, both of these records may end up being talked about again because I've just started to absorb them. But I received the latest album by PBK in collaboration with Jim O'Rourke. Unidentified Again. PBK is Philip B. Klingler, who is an electronic drone artist who I follow, and I have some CDs over here. And years ago, somehow we ended up becoming friends on the internet. We haven't met in person, but we've become friendly. And what he asked me recently, and I love this, he said, I don't have any of your anything by you. Would you be willing to do a trade with me if I send you my latest vinyl release? And I said, wow, yeah. Even in my circumstances, because I like what PBK does already, knowing his work, I said, heck yes. So he sent me this brand new 2015 release on Pica disc, double album, Unidentified Again. PBK with Jim O'Rourke. This is a drone scape. I love this. I love good drone. And what's going on here is, it reminds me of David Tudor. And even before I went to the site and read about how they made this, I heard it, because PBK talks about a David Tudor approach on this. I hear it. It's like what's happening is that Jim O'Rourke has created some electronic entities, and Philip Klingler has created drone environments for these electronic entities to live in. That's a perfect description of what this sounds like. I think it's incredible, actually. 4 sidelong pieces, they need that, and this is the sort of thing that you put on and you can get lost in it, or it can create this atmosphere that you're just in while it's on, and you interact with it on and off. But this is really excellent work. It's intriguing because I can sort of imagine how some of the sounds were created, but it's also so it's such a complete picture sonically that I just can get lost. It's probably some hard work. Probably a lot of hard work went into making this album. Knowing about creating processes where you try to create an atmosphere, and a big one, it's time consuming. You don't just turn the synthesizer on and put a little effect on. It's a search, and you can really hear it on this album. PBK, Jim O'Rourke. I really like this a lot, actually. That's why I'm enthusing about it. I love ambient music. I love sound. I love it. This is great. With that in mind, I was showing you folks some CDs I had gotten the other day from the guy who has the label, Submersive Productions. I put this on again, and it really worked this next time. The Maracrum, the various artists Maracrum. This is like drone and noise. Once I skipped past the first couple and got into stalagmite repression, this is good. This is sound manipulation, drones, noise. I have to be in the new mood for this. I like sound and noise, but I have to be in the mood, or it can be very irritating. Just like traffic and other sounds of the world can be. It's all has to do with the context. Art is partially about context. So I wanted to just touch on that. Listening to this actually caused me to go back and play this CD. And I said, oh, okay, yeah, my ears are readjusted for this. I'm digging this. So I got this, but I also got this from the Gripweeds. These guys are friends of John Dawson. And I had just recently shown you where John had sent me some CDs and the Smithereens. I complained a little bit, and but we recovered. John sent me, John's friend from the band Gripweeds. They endeavored to send me their latest album, How I Won the War. with some promo stuff with it as well. Turns out that John Dawson helped to write one of the songs in here. Very happy to announce that I do not have to be careful with my words. This is good. This band, the Gripweeds, named themselves after the character that John Lennon named himself, was named in the movie How I Won the War. When he was a Beatle, I think it was his first acting job. This apparently is this band's 6th studio album, and they decided to take on writing somewhat of a soundtrack to their idea of How I Won the War. These guys are good. It's an American band that in many ways they're a throwback. It's like there's many elements of the British invasion of music. There's a lot of those references in their music. I even watched a couple of their videos, and they, even in their look, with the organ but the thing is, what's good about this is that these guys can write and they can play. The quality of this is high. You can write well. These are good songs with, again, as I say, the words. I haven't even really paid any attention to the words yet, even though that's what this is about. It's the musical picture. Always. If the musical picture grabs me, then we're talking. And the music picture grabs me. These guys can write. They reference the British sound, but they do still sound American. I mean, they do. The hype in here talks about SF Sorrow, which I think is a bit of a stretch. I wouldn't go that far, but you can hear that these guys were raised on the Beatles, the Who, and great American rock music. The Byrds, all of it. And I'll be returning to this and giving it a real proper listen and paying attention to the lyrics so I can put it into context. But what I wanted to let you guys know, band, Gripweeds, and John, that I appreciate this. It's good. Thank goodness it's good, so I don't have to worry about how do I talk about this, without offending. I don't have to worry about it because you did good. You guys are good. The Gripweeds are good, and if the references I've mentioned while talking about this are of interest to you, you'd probably like this album, Gripweeds. Another thing of interest to me is that it's on Gem Recordings, the company that back in the day brought over a lot of import progressive rock and obscure stuff that was the mainstay of my collecting habits, and the label is active again. Interesting. They're on Gem Recordings, so that caught my attention. So those came in. Now, I'll mention this, but again, it's like I can't give it complete proper because I've just dipped into the records, but I'm going to tell you about them. Another BC member who is a professional musician, drummer, Dave Wayne, I forget the name of his channel, but he was introduced to me through John Coltrane 68, and Dave Wayne is a heavyweight when it comes to collecting, is also a musician. I have some of his music, Radius. He's a very good jazz drummer. But he finally sent me a package, and what a nice package of obscurities. But obscurities based on the sender knowing that I listen. He didn't just send me some freaky records that you've never heard of that are trash. He sent me good music. He sent me good records. I will show you what he sent me right quick. I'll probably return to these because I haven't absorbed them completely. But he sent me 2 albums by this French jazz fusion group that I had not heard. Abus, A-B-U-S. Randy Brecker is a guest on here. This is fusion jazz. Is this 80s? Probably 80s. And, excuse me, good players. Nice independent French label. He sent me 2 of their albums. This one, Jazz and Roll. I really hate those goofy, corny ass titles. And then Abbas Dangereux Live. It's basically the same band. I like what I've sampled from both of these, and what I can tell you about it is, number 1, they're good players. Number 2, most of these tracks have good heads. You know, that's, you know, you write good songs for people to take off on solos. And mostly what I've sampled here is very good. Thank you. I love adding stuff like this to my collection. Dave Wayne. He also sent me this Clown Vomit is the name of the band, and it's a pressed in an edition of 100. I get number 142. This is some kind of, it's on puke colored vinyl, and what I'd call this is, you know, this is indie agit prop. These guys can really play, you know, that's the first thing. It's like the energy of this album and the way they play kind of frenetically and frantically reminds me of the Minutemen. Actually, Mike Watt and D. Boone come to mind. But and then there's some kind of like sophomoric humor going on here, which, you know, doesn't interest me. But this, you know, they taped everything on it, so handmade, and yeah, this is a hand painted, or it's really kind of dubious artwork, but it's hand done, so that's cool. I don't know about that design, but in general, this is interesting. I probably will play it again because the drumming caught me right away, and then as they went on, aside from some of the dumb lyrics, the music is interesting, and it keeps changing. Clown Vomit, another one. I guess I can talk more about the records than I realized already. Thank you, Dave Wayne. He also sent me this, which I had not heard. Square One. This is an early release involving Steve Tibbetts, guitar player from Minnesota. I only played one side of this, and you can hear where this is early in his career. Early in this band's career. Sounds kind of amateurish, but you can hear Steve Tibbetts playing. Went to look this up online, couldn't find it anywhere. Kind of like that even better. You know, there's so much music made and has been made that, you know, it's not possible for all of it to be cataloged and documented online. I couldn't find anything about this online. Kind of cool, actually. This one I haven't looked up yet. Jatungar. I believe this is a Swedish post-punk sound. I have to come back to this. This one was the least interesting on first play, but still it was like, okay, this isn't bad. It's like, and I have to come back to it. And then the last two I'll show are the two that I like the most out of what you sent me, Dave. Thank you again so much. He sent me this album by this duo called Ige Timer. Ige Timer, Ice Cold Pop. It's a duo of bass, upright bass, and electronics. And these are some live recordings. And it's great. Again, stuff like this, again, I've always liked this avant-garde stuff, but it's always amazed me that people can get their records produced and people are actually able to keep producing, making enough money to keep going, or somehow they do this. But this is the sort of thing that it's going to be a small audience that listens to it. It took this a minute for it to catch my interest, you know, but it got going. I've only listened to one side, but the free improvisation sounds like it's sound-based. What they're doing is working with the sounds that they create and intertwine with each other. And this is good. Ice Cold Pop by Ige Timer. Ige Timer, however you say it. And then the album I'm the most pleased with, and I've played all the way through already, is a duet album by Francois Cahen and Didier Lockwood. French musicians who have been involved in groups like Magma, Zao, Transit Express. Thank you, friends. The cover is, it's not about the cover, it's about the music, and this is wonderful. I really like this. I love Didier Lockwood's style on violin. So big thanks to everyone for the music. Big thanks. I'm going to just keep it here. I won't do any politically social ranting because every day things just get stranger and stranger. So it's like, well, this is the trajectory that we're on. Strangeness, strange times. Everyone lives in a bubble. If you're rich and got it made, you're living in a bubble, and that's all that you care. And that seems to be how things are going. If I have the money to do what the fuck I want, I'm going to do it, and who cares about anybody else? It seems to be the ruling tenet of the day, to do what thou wilt. Nothing I can say will do anything about it.